Good evening, everybody. I am Craft Girl, and welcome to my channel. This is my first video on how to do a craft. If you have any questions, please leave a comment on the video, and I will get back to you with it. Today we're going to make a stacked hair bow. And for those who don't know what a stacked hair bow is, here's one example of a stacked hair bow. It has many different layers, little loops, little frillies, little bow in the middle, and then more loops. We're making one that's similar to this, not exactly the same as this. They're very tall. They go in a little girl's head and they look extremely pretty. So, what you need for this is several different colors of ribbon. And I'm going to tilt my camera down now so that way you can see what I'm doing and follow along with me. So let me tilt the camera. Okay, this is my workspace. I'm on a glass coffee table in my living room, of course. I have a hot glue gun. This is one thing you'll need. A pair of good sharp scissors. A lighter. And I'll tell you what the lighter's for in a minute. A barrette. Looks like this. And it pops open. And I've already pre-cut my ribbon, but you get ribbon in rolls. And today we are making a Christmas bow. I have two little girls, so I learned how to make bows, because who wants to pay those high prices, about 15, 20 bucks a bow? I think is ridiculous when you can just make it yourself. So I'm putting down a tape measure, a cloth tape measure. Now, this is a standard size barrette. It's a pretty big barrette. And first we need to cover the barrette. So I have a piece of ribbon right here. And it is red. You usually want to stick with a color that is in your other ribbons. You don't want to cover your barrette in a color that's going to be off because it will be seen. So mine is about 4 inches long. So we're going to take a little bit of hot glue. And I'm just going to draw a little line with the hot glue gun. I use a low temperature hot glue gun because I don't like to burn my fingers. And I don't like to melt the different types of ribbon that there are. This is a ribbed ribbon. And you just place it on a hair bow, like so. So it covers up the metal pieces. And then you have these little ends that stick out, and this little end that sticks out on the hair bow. So we're going to put a dot of hot glue right there, and we're going to fold over. So a little dot of hot glue. You don't need a lot because you don't want it to squish out and show. And then you just fold over your piece of ribbon, like so, to cover the end. And we're going to do the same to the other side. And fold over. And a low temperature hot glue does not take very long to dry, which is one thing I love about low temperature hot glue. So now we have our hair bow. It's covered with red, and the ends are folded over. So now we have the beginning of our hair bow. Next thing you need is needle and thread. Why? Because I have a hot glue gun, would I want to use needle and thread? Well, the whole point behind this is that to get the nice full look, you need to sew a little bit. And I'm not talking like a lot of sewing involved or anything like that. I'm talking a couple stitches, maybe sometimes wrapping around, and to get the effect that we need. So, use regular sewing thread, like this spool that's sitting right here. And generally, this type of ribbon right here is very plasticky, and most of the ribbons are So you lightly just want to take a lighter and just slightly go over the end of your ribbon, and that hot seals your ribbon. The reason why you do that is because ribbon frays, and in a hair bow, you don't want ribbon to fray. It's going to look really weird if ribbon frays. Like this piece right here, see how it's starting to fray right here on the ends? That little bit of stuff sticking up, so we're just going to take it and get rid of that fray. If you need a clip, then clip. This melted a little too much, so I'm going to clip that end off. And there we go. So with this first piece, it's Santa Claus, because we're doing a Christmas bow. And when you're looking at your ribbon, okay, I picked out green and red stripe to go with Santa Claus, and red and green polka dots to go with Santa Claus. They all have a coordinating color, and they're all the same theme because they are Christmas. So you want to think about that when you're doing your hair bow. Now, got the piece in here. This is about from end of the tape measure to 10 inches, which seems really big, but remember, it's going on a big hair bow piece. So we're going to make a loop. And you're going to go over and curl in like so, just like you would for like a breast cancer awareness ribbon or any other type of ribbon. And then on the other side, it will look like this. And we're just going to sew a little stitch in to hold it into place. Make sure there's a knot at the end of your thread. All you need is one little X. And X. And then we're going to tie it off. And the reason I do this instead of hot glue is because hot glue will make a hair bow extra thick. And you know, hair bows, when you make them like this, they get kind of heavy in a kid's head. My first couple of hair bows I made the mistake of trying to do it with hot glue, all hot glue instead of sewing, because who wants to be bothered with sewing? But, you know, it wound up being way too heavy of a hair bow, and she wore it a few times and then complained it hurt her head. So that is why we sew. And no, we're not going to sew the whole thing together, so don't worry. Now we're going to clip and clip. Now we have our first loop, and we have a tail hanging down. So we're going to do the same thing to this side that we did to this side. And see, it makes a very pretty loop. And when you put everything else in it, that outside pattern of Santa will show up. So we're going to do the other side looped, same way you did that one, just like the support ribbons that you see. And I forgot to tie a knot in the end of my string. Hold on. Let's do that right quick. Tie a little knot at the end of our strings, that way it doesn't pull all the way through our ribbon. And I like to do one knot on top of the other knot. There we go. And we're going to stick this in here. And sew again. Just a little X, hold it into place.
think she'll follow me, so you're going to follow me together.
It's stuck. Hold on 1 second. And we're going to knot it off.
That once it's just built up, you'll have a proper time.
And we're going to clip. You know, you have some string hanging right here. So we're going to clip that off. That way it doesn't show. Now we got a little double-sided loop. But this isn't all we do. We make another one just like this. And then we'll sew those two together as well.